Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know I don't post a lot of videos on here. I know I should be posting a lot more videos on here, but you know, life happens. I've got a really busy life, and yeah, so I'm gonna make a video right now because this time last year I was in the hospital for mental health. So I just want to talk about my journey a little bit because since being out of the hospital and since being so open with my journey, I know I have been helping a lot of people. And that sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not really bragging. And even if I was bragging, it's good to help people, so whatever, right? So this time last year, I was in the hospital for mental health. And if you flashed back a few days this time last year, I would have been so scared to go and not wanting to go and in denial that I need to go. So that's where my life was at this time last year. Before going into a hospital for mental health, everyone probably is scared unless you have been in there or know a lot about it. And I didn't know anything about it. I just knew it was time to go. So I went. And I remember the situations, and I remember going there and in a panic attack, obviously, because 1, I didn't want to go, 2, I didn't know what was going to happen, 3, my life was just in shambles at this time in my life. So I went with my boyfriend, and I remember going right in. I went right in. They didn't even I didn't even wait that long, maybe like 15 minutes, because there's nobody there though. So sometimes, I don't want to make this sound like it's going to happen to you if you go to a mental hospital or go to the ER or whatever. It's different for everybody, and even some cases people don't even get in. But I was very lucky and I got in right when I was there. And I remember, I don't really remember much of that night actually. I shouldn't say I remember, because it was just a traumatizing night. It was a really hard night for me. It's a hard time for me in my life. But I got there and they basically gave me stuff to calm me down, and off to the unit I went. A funny thing about my experience was that I had a really bad sunburn that day. I went to the beach because I remember this perfectly too. It was July 4th when I went to the beach. And I remember perfectly my mom being like, "Jenny, you should come to the beach because I know you're upset, but I think the beach will help you." And then I got sunburned. And I mean really bad. I burned so bad. I maybe will try to insert a picture if I possibly can, because you need to know. You need to see how bad it was. But yeah, so I woke up the next day and I was like, shit. Sorry about my language, but really though, I am burnt so bad, and this is, in all situations, to be burnt, not the best place. So that's a little bit funny. I was in this hospital for about 3 weeks almost, and I got diagnosed with bipolar, as well as PTSD and severe anxiety. And they were looking into possible OCD, but they weren't really sure, and nothing ever really came of that yet. But there's some symptoms, I guess. And honestly, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the mental hospital because I don't need to. If you really want me to make a video about that, I can. But this is about my journey. So the treatment I was receiving whenever I got out of the hospital was therapy as well as medication, and I can also make a video about medication if people are interested in that. But just over the past year, I have learned so much about myself, so much about life, so much that we can't take things for granted in life. My treatment as a whole for me is just learning new things as I go. People don't want to have mental illnesses. I don't really want to have a mental illness, but I do, and this is a part of me, and it's always going to be a part of me. I can't change that. I can't change who I am. I can't change the chemical imbalances. I can't change that. I can only work towards helping myself and bettering myself. And I shouldn't be sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I did that for so long. And within the last year, I've realized that that is not the lifestyle I want to live. And so I began realizing that I have to be positive instead of being negative and being stuck in a shell that is a mental illness. I have to come out of that shell and still live my life. All my life, I have always been just so deep. I've always had more emotions than people around me. And I've always just felt things so strong. Any emotion I have, which is bipolar. That's bipolar in a nutshell. But in a way, I am thankful for being who I am, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't have compassion like I do. And I'm not saying that I'm better than people for being this, but I'm thankful for being the way I am, because why would I don't want to be sick. Nobody wants to be sick. But why would I sit there and complain and be upset? I could do that, and many people do that, and if you do that, it's okay. You will eventually, hopefully, find light and try to be positive. I mean, it's hard to be positive when you're so sick. I go through days still, and many days, that I just can't. I physically can't, I mentally can't, I emotionally can't, I just can't. Life, having a mental illness, is just crippling, and I know this, but I try to overcome it, because I know it's never going to go away. I know it's always going to be a part of me, and I've accepted that. So another part of my journey that really has gotten to me is the weight gain. Okay? I've gained so much weight because of being put on medications for bipolar, and it took me a long time to stop feeling so bad about myself, because one, if I go to work out at the gym and eat healthy and stuff, I can try my best to feel better about myself, and that's what I've been doing lately. I'm on week 3 and I'm down 10 pounds, so go me. It's a hard thing to transition from that comfort food to healthy food, but you can make healthy food taste good, and that's what I'm doing. I'm living life healthier because I have an illness that makes me have to live life healthier and not eat out all the time or eat donuts all the time, although I wish I could. Yeah, I gained 30 pounds pretty quickly due to these medications, and really there's nothing you can do about weight gain when it comes to that kind of stuff. You just have to eventually work it off, or hope to work it off, and also see it in the way that if you're not using your medications, then your brain's not going to be balanced if you have what I have, or even if you have depression or anxiety and you gained weight from those medications. You need that stability. And I know that some people do not agree with medications, and that's 100% okay, because if you get along well without medications, so be it. Good for you. You don't have to pay an arm and a leg sometimes for medications. It's great. But most people, or I should say some people, I shouldn't say most, but some people aren't like that, and they have to be balanced by medications. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to do whatever treatment is best for you. And so for me, my treatment is medications, and maybe someday I'll be able to get off of them and be balancing my life stably without them. But right now, that's not the case, and so weight gain was a thing, and it sucks, but I have now come to the conclusion that I can't sit there and just constantly look at my body and feel sorry for myself. I have to go work out, I have to eat healthy, it also really helps my mental health because I'm feeling good and I'm going to start looking good hopefully, and just keep working on it. And I find like part of my treatment too for myself is setting these goals and trying to achieve them and setting things that I can be excited for. So losing hopefully 30 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever is healthy for me. Or even just making an event, like going out of town for a weekend or buying something that is what I wanted to buy for a long time. Anything that excites me or makes me just stimulated in some way that I can be excited for, I plan for that, because those are things that get you by in life, are the things that make you happy. And sometimes even little things make me happy. Like the other day I was watching grass blow in the wind, and that was just so fulfilling in that moment. And that sounds so pathetic, but you have to find the little things that make you happy, and you have to appreciate them. Over the span of my journey, I have learned to appreciate things so much more, because sometimes I can't appreciate things because of my mental illness. It takes me down a notch and makes me not realize how important things are. And in those times, it's really hard for me because I do know how important everything is in my life, but my actions don't show it. And I feel very guilty afterwards. So I'm just saying, like, maybe not hanging out with someone for a while, or being a little bit mean to someone, or not being able to go somewhere with somebody. It's, you know what mental health does to a person. Mental illness, sorry. And so that makes me feel so bad, but then I also appreciate the moments that aren't like that, and it makes things so much better. Basically what this video is for, in a recap, is that I am so grateful for my journey. I'm so grateful to be where I'm at today. I am living a very healthy life. I have great friends, I have a great boyfriend, a great family, a great dog, I have a great job, a few jobs. I have just great things that I should be appreciative for. And I could have lost that due to my mental illness last year, because I was in a really low place in my life. And I want to thank everybody who has been around for this long and has been helping me. I know that it's not easy to keep somebody in your life who has a mental illness, but I mean, if you love the person, I guess you do it, right? But I know it's probably not easy to keep me around if you're very close to me and have to see me be so crippled sometimes mentally. But I am just so thankful today, reflecting back and looking back at where I was. I could get emotional, but I'm trying not to. Where I was last year and where I am now is just such a difference, and I am just reflecting is such a good thing. And if you have a mental illness, you should reflect on all your moments that are great. I have made such achievements over the past year. I've found who I am. I found my calling. I found out so much about myself, and I wouldn't have if I didn't go to the hospital. So this is a milestone for me, looking back and seeing that this time last year I was just so down. I was in such a low place. I didn't want to be here, and there's some days still that I don't want to be here, but I get through them. I have a therapist that's amazing that helps me get through them. There's just so much things that help me now, and I look forward to another year of hopefully being out of the hospital. But if I ever had to go back to the hospital, I 100% would. So if you are thinking of going to the hospital and thinking that's something that you need to do, I just want to encourage you to do it. You may get discouraged if you don't get admitted, and the system in some places just does that. Or sometimes the help is not available, but I want everyone just to keep trying, because I want to be an example of the fact that you can keep going even though your mental health just makes you not. And yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end it. So I just want to thank everybody who watches this, who has helped me personally, who's helped me not so personally, who's come to me and wanted my help. Like, I will reach out my help to anybody. I just am so grateful to be where I am today. And it wouldn't have been how it was if it wasn't for me starting my own recovery or treatment. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end this video. And I just want everyone to know that there is light out there. There always will be light, even when you can't see it. Even in your darkest hours, there will be light, and you don't have to let mental illnesses defeat you. You don't. And if you can't do it alone, I'm willing to help you no matter what. My YouTube account or wherever this video goes is always open. My Facebook page is always open. My Instagram account is always open. If you want to follow my Instagram account, it's at Jenny's Green Journey. And my Facebook page is Jenny Smiles. I don't know if you can even find that on Facebook, but that's what it is. And I can try to link them in the description if I can figure it out, because I'm not that tech savvy, as we know. But yeah, so I hope somebody gets something out of this video, because mental illnesses can suck ass, but we don't have to let them do that, and we don't have to do that alone. So we can be a team, and I want to welcome everyone to my team of helping each other. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend wherever they are in this world, and I hope everyone continues to try to be healthy.